live. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's April 13th. It's an awesome day. My name is Hanna Olivas. I am the co host of Chatter Girl Movement today with the expert, Alicia Marcos Birong. I'm also the CEO and co founder of She Raises Studios. And today we're going to talk to you about how to lead our little girls to reach for the stars. And if you have not been watching our Wednesday lives, I highly encourage you to go back and catch the replays. You can find it on our YouTube channels, inside the She Rises community Facebook group, etc. But Alicia is a amazing expert on helping our young women, our little girls, get that negative chatter out of their minds. She has an incredible program, and she is the CEO and founder of Guided Choices. She is the creator of Chatter Girls Movement, and you're just going to be seeing a lot more of her today. So, how do we lead our little girls to reach for the stars?
Well, you know what? When I got that one and then I listened to your other podcast today, you were on task today. And I'll show you why. First of all, we have to listen to them. This is the thing that mothers and fathers do not too good always. Their stars have to be their stars. Okay. And I'll give an example of that. Your little Sophia was out on the skateboard this week, and I thought about that immediately. I said, okay, we know that most likely Hanna was okay with her doing that. That was her star for the day. But was it Sophia's? And so a lot of times we want our kids to get great grades and stuff like that. But we got to listen to them to find out what their stars are. Because if we don't, they're not going to reach them. And we're going to be disappointed, and they're going to be disappointed. So we have to listen, and we have to give them ownership of their stars. So that's the big ones. And then today on task, you were talking with our beauty expert about compliments. Wow. Compliments. Do we compliment our kids after they do something? Do we keep the compliments coming? Because just as adults, we love that compliment. Those kids are waiting for that compliment because that will help them go to the next step to get to their stars and continue. And number 4 is continue support. Don't stop. You know, sometimes we like, okay, they got there, but then all of a sudden we don't see them go back to the skateboard anymore.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, they desert it because they didn't feel like that was their star. But we've got to figure out why they didn't feel like that was their star. So those are my 4 thoughts today on helping them get to the star that they want. That's most important thing that I believe is getting to the star that they want, not what we want. So those are my 4 ideas. What do you think, Miss Hanna?
It's funny that you brought up the whole skateboard thing because Sophia has, since I think December of last year, she expressed really wanting to learn how to ride a skateboard. Now, I am not a professional by any means. I am probably the most awkward person to be showing her the ropes. So we've dabbled for weeks, and her version of riding the skateboard was kind of tucking in, sitting on her bottom, tucking her knees in, and pushing herself down the street. And and I'm like, that's fine if that's how you want to start. I said, but is that really where you want to stay, or do you want to continue to learn how to ride this skateboard? And at first, we had to get over her wearing her knee pads, her elbow pads, her helmet. And her thing with the helmet is she worries about how she looks in a helmet. And in my head, mama roll's happening. And I'm like, no, you're going to wear your helmet. I don't care how dorky you look. So this day that you're talking about that I shared on Facebook, prior to me taking those videos, she's like, okay, I'm going to try it standing up, but can you hold my hand? And I'm like, and in my head, I'm picturing myself literally running down the street. And that's what was happening. So here's Sophia, and she's got it. She's doing it. And here's me trying to keep up with her, my 5'2" legs, trying to run alongside a 9-year-old on a skateboard. It was straight comedy. My sister's behind me watching this. My husband's watching it, but she's doing it. She's doing it. And I'm like, way to go, Sophia. So she, like, the more I'm complimenting her, the more I'm giving her that encouragement, the more she wants to try. Right. Then guess what happens? Sophia hits a rock. And she's like, see, that's why I told you I didn't want to. And I got the whole, and I'm like, hey. And I stuck my face as close to her and I go, you got to bring the 10 to a 2, number one. And it's okay that you hit the rock. It's going to happen. You're going to hit lots of rocks in life. I said, so what are we going to do here? We're going to try again. And she's like, okay. So we try it again and again until this mama is tired and can't go, mama, go no more. So I love the fact that you're talking about helping them see what the star is, allowing her, like, I feel like I was allowing her to voice her opinion, to be persistent, to be mad, to be all those things that she was being, because there was a mixture. She still has a little bit of fear, but each time she goes out there, she tries more and more. And she has me and her father and everybody who's a part of her life saying, hey, keep going, keep going. If this is what you want, we support you. And it's important for our little girls to know that they have that support, that they have that backbone in case they do fall, in case they do hit a rock. It's okay. Keep going. I say, keep going, keep reaching for the stars. You know, another one that comes to my mind that I struggle with, my little Sophia, is kids nowadays, their imagination is way different than what ours is. Like, you could put me in a Cinderella dress with high heels at 9 years old, and I could imagine being the fairest princess of them all. When I'm talking to her and I'm like, use your imagination, she's like, I don't even know what that means. And so we have to explain and show our kids it's okay to be 9. It's okay to be 12. You don't need to be 9 going on 29. Use your imagination. Focus on things that are important to you. Like, in other words, like, be yourself. Don't worry about what everybody else is thinking. If you want to play with Barbies, play with Barbies. If you want to play with Tonka toys, play with Tonka toys. You know, be that age, use your imagination. Don't just depend on the social media, the devices, the TikTok, the YouTube, and all that other stuff, because then you're not really allowing, I tell her, I'm like, you're not allowing yourself to experience other things in life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, little by little, she's like coming out of that shell. So I think showing them that it's okay to use their imagination. Like, I would be in love with the fact if she came to me and said, hey, I want to play dress up today. And she does actually, sometimes she'll put my shoes on. Like, it cracks me up.
Yeah.
And she's like, look at me. I'm in your shoes, you know? And I'm like, oh, you're so cute. You know, like, those are moments to encourage more of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it also lets them know it's okay to be themselves, to let their guard down and be their little funny, dorky, quirky selves. So I really like that. I like this topic.
I do too. I love it. And especially when you're talking about imagination. So, you know, in Chatter Girls, we really work with imagination because we look at about 8 years old, as they start to change in that development, they think they have to leave their imagination behind because that's what social media, that's what all this other people are saying. In reality is they can't, because if they leave it behind, they won't make it to that star, because you've got to have imagination. You've got to imagine yourself in the place that you want to be. And if you don't have that, how are you going to get yourself there? If you imagine yourself as a grown up, or you imagine yourself playing those Barbie dolls. Well, when they're playing those Barbie dolls, they're enacting stories of who they want to be, what they want to deal with. They're listening to them when they're playing Barbies. I listen to my granddaughter, and they're telling something that they heard mom and dad say to each other at the Barbie dolls. I mean, because they hear everything. And so then when we see it, but we do believe that imagination from 3 to 9 is beautiful, but then we come in with puberty and all that, and they think we have to throw it out the window. And I'm going, no way. That's what's going to make you successful as an adult, because without it, we won't get where we want to go. We won't.
So true.
And so we never absolutely keep that imagination. Play imagination with your children. Tell the stories. I tell them one story of I was doing a conference with boys and girls, middle school kids, and this retreat I was doing for this school, and I'm standing there and I'm reading Frog and Toad to all these kids. And Hannah, you should have seen their mouths. Here's these big boys trying to figure out who they are, and they're it applied, because we were talking about friendship. And so we have to go back to the stories. We have to go back to the books. The story that was Sophia's favorite story when she was younger needs to be told a number of times, because it still applies today. And that's what we think. Oh, our child's grown. Yeah, but they still need that imagination. And that's one of the favorite things I love about doing Chatter Girls. And, between imagination, compliments, support, we have these amazing girls that are going to be amazing women. But imagination is the key.
Definitely. I think the only thing that I would probably add to this, and then we'll just kind of recap, I would say encouraging our daughters and sons to form meaningful relationships with people who encourage them, who support them, who allow them to let their guard down and be who they want to be. And I would also say to help them focus on who they really are and what they really want at that moment in life. So for Sophia, what does Sophia want right now? Like right now, all we're talking about is her 10th birthday, which is in 2 weeks. That's all. I'm going to be double digits. Everything changes when she turns to double digits. And I said, well, what's the difference between being double digits and 1? And she goes, well, then I have only 8 more years till I'm 18. So I'm like, well, what's the hurry to be 18? I want to get a car. I want to drive. I want to have my own apartment. So she's already imagining this life. And I'm like, whoa, baby, slow down, because you still have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, but I still like to hear her talk about what she likes, what she doesn't like, where she sees herself. Like she's already envisioning herself as this young woman. She tells me all the time, I want to be a business owner. In fact, the other day she said, so how old are you going to be, or how old do you have to be before you give me the business of She Rises? She goes, because you're getting kind of old. And it's just laugh, because she's being honest in her mind. She's like, hey, I want to take over the business. And how, so are you going to be like 55 and retire? Like, what's it looking like here? And the fact that and a lot of people don't know the backstory, but the fact of her even seeing that or saying that coming from where Sophia came from, I'm like, wow, this little girl is watching. She is listening. They are. If you do not know this about children or your child, they're sponges. They listen and soak up everything you say and do. So, whatever it is you're saying and doing, make sure you are filling them with connection, positivity, love, unconditional love. Don't put crazy expectations on your kids. If your child does not want to go to Yale and they want to go to a community college, or if they don't want to be a lawyer and they want to be an artist, embrace what they want and help support that, because you putting an expectation of them, you wanting them to be like you, it's a setup for disaster, and they'll never feel good enough in their mom or dad's eyes. So it's like, so reaching for the stars, allowing them to voice their opinion, to be curious, to be persistent, urging them to dream, imagine, dress up, meaningful relationships, support, find a mentor for them, and help them focus on who they really are right now in their own two shoes. You as a parent, that is a blessing that you get to be a part of. You get to help them grow and flourish. And I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? You know?
Absolutely. So, parents, we need for you to listen. We want them to take some ownership. We want you to compliment them. And most of all, we want you to help support them. But we also want you to remember imagination is the key for them reaching for the stars.
So, Alicia, how can people find you?
We're going to have our information after this today, and also those 4 points. But they can get me at www.guidedchoices.org, or they can go on our Facebook page. You know, we have a Chatter Girl Facebook page. We have a Guided Choices Facebook page. I'm really excited about the fact that we're doing this Chatter Girl movement. If people are interested in being leaders and doing Chatter Girl in their area, please go to our website. It'll give you all that information for the future. And guess what? Hannah and I got a new book, and we're shooting for the stars for our moms.
Yes, I'm so excited. So, Alicia is one of the co-authors in Becoming an Unstoppable Woman Mompreneur. I could just tell you her chapter is incredible, and we already know she is. So, it's like a no-brainer. She has been with us pretty much since the beginning. She's in all the books. And just your knowledge and your guidance is so tremendously appreciated. So make sure you go to guidedchoices.org, check out who she is, get to know Alicia, because it's just somebody that you would want in your corner as you're raising your little girl. And read the book, get the book, because it's something that you're going to want to have as a blueprint to being a mama and a business owner. You know, we wear a lot of hats. We're wives, we're mamas, we're grandmas, sisters, aunts, you know, like the list goes on and on, you know. So doing these lives Wednesdays, and we're here every Wednesday together at 9 a.m. We're doing this because we're trying to raise awareness for our young little girls and our little boys. You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
This is our way, and mainly Alicia's. This is her. This is your show to contribute to leading our young little girls to becoming extraordinary young women and adult women. So thank you again for joining me today. Always a pleasure to see you. And we will be back next Wednesday, same time, 9 a.m. We will talk about some more cool stuff. And in the meantime, have a wonderful day and help your little girl reach for the stars today. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.